Yeah. Please fill me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name, amen. Start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yah, pay careful attention and respond. Yahweh is our power and authority. Yahweh works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yahweh, your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. John 11. There was a man who had fallen sick. His name was Eleazar. He came from Bethania, the village where Miriam and her sister Martha lived. This Miriam, whose brother Eleazar had become sick, is the one who poured perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair. So the sisters sent a message to Yeshua, Lord, the man you love is sick. On hearing it, he said, this sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that the Son of Man may receive glory through it. Yeshua loved Martha and her sister and Eleazar. So when he heard he was sick, first he stayed where he was 2 more days. Then, after this, he said to the Talmudim, let's go back to Yehuda. The Talmudim replied, Rabbi, just a short while ago the Judeans were out to stone you, and you want to go back there? Yeshua answered, aren't there 12 hours in daylight? If a person walks during daylight, he doesn't stumble, because he sees the light of this world. But if a person walks at night, he does stumble, because he has no light with him. Yeshua said these things, and afterwards he said to the Talmudim, our friend Eleazar has gone to sleep, but I'm going in order to wake him up. The Talmudim said to him, Lord, if he has gone to sleep, he would get better. Now Yeshua had used the phrase to speak about Eleazar's death, but they thought he was talking literally about sleep. So Yeshua told them in the plain language, Eleazar has died, and for your sakes I'm glad that I wasn't there, so that you may come to trust. But let's go to him. So Toma, that means twin, said to his fellow Talmudim, yes, we should go, so that we can die with him. On arrival, Yeshua found that Eleazar had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now, Bethania was about 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many of the Judeans had come to Martha and Miriam in order to comfort them at the loss of their brother. So when Martha heard that Yeshua was coming, she went out to meet him, but Miriam continued sitting Shiva in the house. Martha said to Yeshua, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you. Yeshua said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha said, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. Yeshua said to her, I am the resurrection of the life. Whoever puts his trust in me will live, even if he dies, and everyone living and trusting in me will never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, the one coming into the world. After saying this, she went off and secretly called Miriam, her sister. The rabbi is here and is calling for you. When she heard this, she jumped up and went to him. Yeshua had not yet come into the village, but was still where Martha had met him. So when the Judeans who had been with Miriam in the house comforting her saw her get up quickly and go out, they followed her, thinking she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Miriam came to where Yeshua was and saw him, She fell at his feet and said to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Yeshua saw her crying, and also the Judeans who came with her crying, he was deeply moved and also troubled. He said, "Where have you buried him?" They said, "Lord, come and see." Yeshua cried. So the Judeans there said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "He opened the blind man's eyes. Couldn't he have kept this one from dying?" Yeshua, again deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave. A stone was lying in front of the entrance. Yeshua said, "Take the stone away." Marta, the sister of the dead man, said to Yeshua, "By now his body must smell, for it has been 4 days since he died." Yeshua said to her, "Didn't I tell you that if you keep trusting, you will see the glory of God?" So they removed the stone. Yeshua looked upward and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I myself know that you always hear me, but I say this because of the crowd standing around, so that they may believe that you have sent me." Having said this, he shouted, "Eleazar, come out!" The man who had been dead came out, his hands and feet wrapped in strips of linen, and his face covered with a cloth. Yeshua said to them, "Unwrap him and let him go." At this, many of the Judeans who had came to visit Miriam and had seen what Yeshua had done trusted in him. But some of them went off to the Prushim and told them what he had done. So the head Kohanim and the Prushim called a meeting of the Sanhedrin and said, "What are we going to do? This man is performing many miracles. If we let him keep going on this way, everyone will trust him, and the Romans will come and destroy both the temple and the nation." But one of them, Caiaphas, who was a Kohen Haggadol that year, said to them, "You people don't know anything. You don't see that it's better for you if one man dies on behalf of the people, so that the whole nation won't be destroyed?" Now he didn't speak in this way in his own initiative. Rather, since he was the Kohen Gadol that year, he was prophesying that Yeshua was about to die on behalf of the nation, and not for the nation alone, but so that he might gather into one the scattered children of God. From that day on, they made plans to have him put to death. Therefore, Yeshua no longer walked around openly among the Judeans, but went away from there into the region near the desert, to a town called Ephraim, and stayed there with his Talmudim. The Judeans' festival of Pesach was near, and many people went up from the country to Jerusalem to perform the purification ceremony prior to Pesach. They were looking for Yeshua, and as they stood in the temple courts, they said to each other, "What do you think? That he simply won't come to the festival?" Moreover, the head Kohanim and the Prushim had given orders that anyone knowing Yeshua's whereabouts should inform them, so that they could have him arrested. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading John 11? We can trust Yeshua's timing in our lives. We can trust that sickness in our lives can be used for God's glory. Our aim should be that the Son of God receives glory from the circumstances in our life. Trust Yeshua where he is leading you, no matter what we think or what has happened in the past that may cause us to doubt. Trust that Yeshua is the light of the world, and where he is, there is no darkness. Trust that Yeshua uses death to bring about trust in him. Trust, as Marta did, that whatever Yeshua asks God, God will give him what he asks for. Trust that Yeshua is the resurrection and the life. Trust in Yeshua and you will live. Trust that Yeshua is the Messiah, the Son of God. Trust that Yeshua has power over death to bring life back into a person, long after they had died. When you pray, pray as Yeshua did. Give thanks to God that He hears our prayers. Keep trusting that you may see the glory of God. Trust that when Yeshua speaks, miracles happen. Place your complete trust in Yeshua. Encourage others to place their trust in Yeshua. Unite the children of God. How can we love others? We can teach, share with them this great story of what Yeshua can do in the lives of those who trust and pray to Yeshua. Produce spiritual fruit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. And how can we bear one another's burdens? We can prioritize prayer for those you love and those God has placed into your inner circle. End with the Aaronic blessing. Yahweh will kneel before you presenting gifts, and He will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yahweh will illuminate the wholeness of His being toward you, bringing order, and He will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahweh will lift up the wholeness of His being and look upon you and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Amen.